Good morning. Well, Monday morning. Good morning, people. Can you hear me? Am I there? Am I there? Well, we're going to have to chat. I'm going to go check me out. I'm going to see if I'm here. Can I hear me? See if I'm here. I'm here. Apparently I'm here. I can hear myself. Well, good Monday morning. It is February. It's Feb 19. Monday. Let's get rid of that. Anybody do anything interesting this weekend? If you've been paying attention on Facebook, you know I went out again. Went out Friday night with my wife and David and Kristen, and we went out and what did we do? We went to the 420 lounge, the 420 bank. That was neat. That was totally cool. Let's see. How come I can't go to full screen on this? What's up with that? I don't want to share my screen. I don't want to share. What I would like to do is make my screen bigger, but I can't seem to do that here. That's all right. So, did anyone do anything really fun and exciting? Me? Yeah, that's my shirt. Bitchin'. That's awesome. Okay, people. The coffee is brewing. It is brewing. So let's see. Since we last were together on the 15th. Wow. 15th. It's episode 4. Yeah. So let's see. Friday went out to the 420 Lounge, and we saw Tavi, a new friend of ours who plays guitar and sings. Just a radical dude. Radical dude. Lepard. And let's see. Since we were last together, I actually worked on theme music for Outbind Records and stuff, which is a segment that I'll be sharing with you on a Sunday morning show. Yeah. Oh, last night we watched, we were sitting out here, for an hour while my daughter went through Prime and Netflix and Paramount, every other streaming channel possible to try to find us something to watch. And we finally, she finally agreed on All of Me with Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin. What a fantastic movie. I don't think I've seen the whole movie from beginning to end since I first saw it in 1986 or 87 over at Andy's house. You remember that, Andrew? You remember that movie, All of Me? Edwina Beckenboer. Edwina Beckenboer. It's a great, totally fucking awesome flick, right? Yeah. So anyway, my coffee's brewing. I wonder if my coffee is brewed yet. Is it all brewed? Oh yeah, this is a drum here. Of course it is. Well, she's still dripping. Dripping. So let that coffee drip, and we will take a trip. Oh, I know. Take a trip. Let's grab some. Since I can do whatever I want. Edwina Beckenboer. Edwina Beckenboer. Okay. Let's see. Edwina Beckenboer. Let's see. I've got my trusty little trivia book here. Let's see. First of all, let's talk about this book. It's a trivia book. I'm not going to give it away because if I give too much away, people will be scrambling around for the answers. All right. Tell me who Willy Loman is. Huh? Anybody? My daughter had to watch a dramatization of this for one of her college classes. I believe it was a high school class or a college class. But Willy Loman. Who's Willy Loman? Anybody know? I know who Willy Loman is before I pick this up. Totally. Yeah, there's been a lot of really great Willy Lomans. Yep. So, wow. Winky, Blinky, and Naughty. Huh. were the three comical sidekicks of what superhero? Right? Winky, Blinky, and Naughty. Let's see. This seems to have just unlimited knowledge here from, I'm thinking 82. Ooh, copyright 77. So this is some good old school. So this is the 1979 edition of this book. So we're going to do trivia from, oh, here we go. Here's one that'll match my shirt. Animals. Okay, what are the collective words of specific animals? What's a collective of frogs? I'll give you this one. It's an army, right? An army of frogs. Anybody know crows? Everybody knows what a group of crows is, right? Hit me up in the comments. What about peacocks? What's a group of peacocks called? You'll never figure that one out. But don't just give me an answer. Be sure to let me know what the question is so I know what you're answering. Yeah. What is a group of cats called? Anybody? All right. Cool. All right. Well, here's something that I'll let you know. Ann Darrow. Ann Darrow is the character of the female in the movie King Kong. All right. The original 1933 movie, King Kong. In 1976, they remade it with, let's see, Jeff Bridges as the lead male role. And they changed out the Ann Darrow character and changed it to a girl named Dwan, D-W-A-N, Dawn, except she switched the A and the W, so it's Dwan. Pretty cheesy. Let's see. Barbara Streisand, Valerie Perrine, Bette Midler, and Cher were suggested for that role in 1976. But was finally played by Jessica. Now, Jessica Lange, she did a great movie about an actress, a true life story of an actress who got thrown into the booby hatch. Right? And the horrible movie about the apartments, apartment buildings. What was the apartment of the number of the apartment in the Jeffersons family? Or Lucy and Ricky Ricardo's apartment number? Huh? Anybody? All right. Totally. Well, we got a lot on the Apollo career, the Apollo missions, the Apollo crew. Look at that, Planet of the Apes. Look at all the Apollo missions there. Well, the ones they want to talk about. Wow. So Apollo 17 was the flight that Steve Austin, Lee Majors from the $6 Million Man was on. Pretty cool, huh? 79 here. So the only thing under Apple is the Beatles record company. No Apple computers here. That's pretty heavy. Heavy. Yeah. Aqualad, the partner of Aquaman's. Oh, that's great. Oh, here's a good one. Archie Goodwin, right? He was Nero Wolfe's assistant and narrator of the stories for the radio show. Um, that's pretty cool. I think it's about time for me to grab some coffee. If anybody wants to talk trivia, I got me a trivia book here. And uh, wow, here I am, people. Good morning. Good morning. No wedgie, no wedgie, no wedgie. And here we are. Yeah, totally. Def Leppard, man. So I never saw Def Leppard in concert. It's one of the groups I never saw in the 80s. I wasn't a huge fan of Def Leppard. Um, I mean, I was probably a fan of their first 2 or 3 albums. Um, I know I think I've got Pyromania on 8-track, which is pretty heavy. Part of my 8-track collection. We're going to have to get into some 8-tracks one of these days. Oh, that's hot. That's delicious. Hot and delicious. So the drum kit is semi set up here. I kind of moved a couple of things out of the way so you're not staring at a cymbal. But that's as far as I'm pushing it out of the way. I did work on that theme song, and Saturday I did an all-day marathon session, and mostly it took so long because of my technology is so discombobulated from today's reality. So I really had to battle back and forth between analog and digital to get it worked out. But I finally got it figured out, and I was able to record my rhythm guitar separately, and then my drums separately, and then my bass guitar separately, and then do my vocals separately. So I've got 4 individual tracks and then 1 completed track, which is pretty cool. So now I can take it from there. I think I just need to add guitar, distortion, crunchy stuff. And well, I haven't really gotten it figured out much more than, some power chords. I really want to get some kind of catchy. I think I got a little catchy hook with the bass, which is going to be great when I do the instrumental version for the end, and hopefully I can get some help with that. Because, like I said, I'm not a musician, not a singer. I'm just a guy who enjoys fiddling about with the idea of music and entertainment. So let's see. We're not, we're not doing that hat thing in the morning, okay? We're not going to do it. My daughter's right. A hat in the morning makes it seem like I'm on my way to work or something, and that's the furthest from the truth here. I did my work yesterday. Went out and cleaned a couple of houses and earn that bread and butter, pay them bills. You know, what humans do. We're forced into some kind of slave labor thing. Totally. Yeah. Silence. We can drink some coffee here. I really enjoy watching old movies with my daughter. She's 19 and a half. And mostly we watch old movies. Every once in a while, I will pick out a new movie that's like, let's check this out. I've seen some stuff on this one. Let's check this out. And usually I'm pretty good. Usually I pick out a new movie and it's right on, or at least an old movie that no one else in the family has seen. And I'm pretty good about picking out stuff that everybody can appreciate. Last night was no different. As we went through the movies, I kind of tried to explain what I knew as a preview for the movies that she was looking at that I knew about. New stuff. It's like that looks weird. That looks weird. That looks weird. That looks like maybe. But usually it wound up to be like, that's just no. But the good old 1970s, 80s, it's like the best place to find really good entertainment. We sifted through a lot of cheese to find All of Me, but it was so well worth it. If anyone gets a chance to watch All of Me, I believe it was on Prime. Just a fantastic trek through the past. It also reminds me of another movie from the 1980s. What was that movie? I gotta get that movie book from Barnes and Noble. Well, let's see if we can come up with it. It was a movie with singer girl. Cyndi Lauper, right? She didn't do a whole lot of acting, but she did do a movie with, I don't remember who the hell was in it. She was a psychic in the movie. That's really all I can remember. Gosh, I want to say Tim Danson, and then I want to say Howie Mandel, but those were two guys in the movie A Fine Mess. which is another funny movie from the 80s. Howie Mandel and Ted Danson. Racetrack horse gambling guys. It's a funny, stupid, silly movie. Like the Police Academy movies in a way. At least I kind of get that feel. Let's see. Anybody else have any interesting movies that they? This chair is so funny when the dogs come up. They put their feet up here, and they'll put their feet up here and then just push me. And they're constantly pushing me around. Silly dogs. What's this? This is a Betamax video maintenance kit. That's what this is. It is a box filled with a head cleaner and solvent. And that's what that is. These are my encyclopedias. This is my chicken. These are my encyclopedias. Let's see, there is still one. What was there? Yep, there's still one missing. 29 is still over on my desk because I wanted to look at the one page, half a page that they had about Wounded Knee, and then a short paragraph about Wounded Knee 2. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to find research material on the 1973 Wounded Knee siege. There's only a few, maybe a dozen, half dozen books written on the subject. At least that I know of. Now, if there were other people out there who know of more books about Wounded Knee and the events around 1973's Wounded Knee 2 and that siege, hit me up. If anyone was there, I'd love to talk to you. My father was there for a brief period of time. But yeah, I'd love to pick your brain. That would be awesome. I've pardoned my sniffles. It's this morning thing. I've done my best to do some research on Wounded Knee, and have come up wanting really. There's like almost no documentaries on the subject. Oh, that's so good. So let's see. I believe last Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was last Wednesday. That was Valentine's Day. All Admin's Day. There's a lot of Admin's Day, you know. Let's get those guys to figure chocolate. Yeah, let's sell more chocolate. Yep. And flowers, and greeting cards. Ooh, and of course diamonds. Don't forget diamonds. We gotta sell those diamonds. Gotta get those diamonds sold so the diamond cartel can be rich motherfuckers, right? I don't get into gems and precious metals and all that shit, you know. I just don't. And what the big thrill about all of that shit is, all right? It must be genetic. and it just ain't in my genes. Sure, I like shiny things. You know, who fucking doesn't? You know, do I like shiny, sparkly things to go out and put myself and my family in hock to attain them? Fuck no. You got to be kidding me. That's the way you want to go into a marriage, in hock, up to your fucking eyeballs, you know? And don't get me started on people who require certain financial investments before they will make a personal or emotional investment in someone, right? It's like, what have you done for me lately, bitch? What have you got for? You got some money for me? What you gonna get? You gonna get me that ring? You ain't gonna. Well, we ain't getting married if you ain't gonna give me that ring. Well, fuck that. You ain't my kind of man. You ain't gonna give me that ring, right? Oh yeah. Put a ring on it. Yeah, put a ring on this right here. That's what you get a ring on. I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, anybody awake out there yet? I don't usually get any visual wake up cues here until 8 or 9 at least. Yeah, David, if you're up, call me. We'll we'll do something today. I'm game. I'm game. Like, what kind of game are you? Oh my god, no way. For sure. Oh my god. Totally, dude. Movies. Anybody ever see a movie called Nickelodeon? Anybody? Nickelodeon was made in the, I'm going to say, the late 70s. And it is a movie about the early days of making movies, the early days of studios, production companies. Nickelodeon is you put a nickel in a machine and you turn it and you can watch a silent movie, right? And it's just a minute long. And so movie houses had these. If you go to Disneyland down Main Street, you see the old Nickelodeon building where they've got all those old machines. You can go in there and still put nickels in these things and crank them and watch old cartoons and silent movies and stuff. And there's something that I'd like to check out again, right? So the movie Nickelodeon, one of my favorite young actresses at the time, Tatum O'Neal, who had just come off an Academy Award-winning supporting role in Paper Moon, right, with her father, and also the Bad News Bears and a few other little tidbits. But Nickelodeon, once again, I believe that starred her father and I believe Burt Reynolds, right? Somebody hit me up if I am incorrect. Is this thing going to have movies? Maltese Falcon. Okay, so there's a movie. So let's see if it has Nickelodeon in it. Jane Mansfield. Mr. Terrific. O-N-N-I. Where's Ned? Yeah. Okay, what were we looking for? Nickelodeon. Nick. N-I. Nick. There's Nick. Nick Carter. Oh. Yeah, Master Detective. Nicknames. Wow, that's a lot of nicknames. Interesting. Nicknames for a lot of stuff. Nick, nickel, nickel trophy. Nick Carter. No, Nickelodeon. I almost watched a whole episode of Fantasy Island the other night. I could not sleep. I was up late doing laundry, and I was watching one of those channels where they're just constantly throwing old movies and TV shows at you. And episode of Fantasy Island started. So, of course, I had to watch the opening. And the plane was, and everybody getting off of the plane, and introductions, and the toast. And we had the toast, and we talked about whose fantasy was whose. And then there's that silly, big, smiley, blonde-faced girl who took over for Suzanne Summers on Come and Knock on Our Door, Come and Knock on Our Three's Company, right? And she's one of those, she's the one with the really big, toothy grin, big in the southern. I think she was supposed to be Suzanne Summers' cousin or something on the show. So she was really goofy and silly too. So she was on the Fantasy Island as someone who wanted to be on a riverboat, and Roddy McDowell was in that segment. And I couldn't get over the fact that she was wearing this, those stretchy top thingies where it comes down and then it's just kind of straight across. And she was wearing one with a bodice, to kind of give it a little bit of perk there. And the top was hanging down so low that most of the time I was afraid that her boobs were going to pop out. I mean, it's right. It's old TV. There's no way that's going to happen. But it's like, my gosh, cover yourself up, girl. This is TV. Sex sells. Always has, always will. Weird. But it actually, that and her not terrific acting kind of turned me off from the episode, and I just said later I'd rather do laundry. Now, while I am attracted to beautiful women and physical features and stuff, I'm not attracted to it being forced at you, being forced down my throat. It's like a lap dance. Having some stranger throw her body parts into your face and rub up against you. That does not appeal to me in the slightest. No. Physicality with someone, to me, is just more personal and intimate than sitting in a room full of 100 strangers, having strangers push themselves against you. I don't get it. I don't. I mean, sure, I'm sure that there are people out there that get a thrill from interacting with strangers. Not me. I went out to some strip clubs back in the, I'm going to say like 89, 90, maybe 91, somewhere in there. A friend worked in the LA area. And while he was used to going out, because he worked in that kind of setting where there were always guys wanting to go out and do guy stuff, for this, I don't know, for the sake of doing guy stuff, or to prove that they're guys, or, to carry on the tradition of their forefathers. I don't know why. But I think there was once where we went out to a strip club because my friend was friends with one of the strippers. And that was one of the most uncomfortable nights in my life. Now, when it was a bachelor party for another friend, thrown by the same friend who took me to the strip club, he hired a stripper and her bodyguard to come and hang out for a few hours for the bachelor party. And while that was really weird to say the least, it was more intimate because there was only maybe a dozen of us there, and it was like by the time it was for her to do her act and to strip, we had already hung out with this girl and her bodyguard boyfriend, and gotten high and had drinks and ate, and she was like part of the party at that point. So when she started stripping, it was even weirder than had she just come in and started taking her clothes off. So now there's somebody here that we're actually an acquaintance with now, and she's sitting taking her clothes off in front of us, which was really, really weird for me at the time. I mean, I was probably I'm gonna say 18 or 19, maybe 20 at the time. So we were all still pretty young. But nothing compares to going to a strip club where it's loud and dark with flashing lights and weird sounds and smells and people and ointments and lotions and sticky floors. And it's just like, no, it just doesn't. It's like going to a Pussycat Theater, right? Anybody remember Pussycat Theaters? It was a great Pussycat Theater right there in Hollywood. Pardon me. Yeah, another thing that I never got into was pornographic movie houses. I mean, I've been to a couple, or those adult bookstores with the movie machines and the booths where you can go sit and watch a bunch of porno on reel. I mean, it's kind of a weird, really, too weird for me. All right, unusually strange. I mean, I'm weird, but this shit is just, it's out there for me. All right. Now, it may be for other people that, they want that or need that to keep them from, having to fucking masturbate or go out and rape somebody, or get a prostitute or whatever. There's a thing called fucking willpower, I don't think humanity has quite figured out what to do with it yet. And it might be genetic. There's only a few, gene combinations on the planet, who actually have respect for themselves and have willpower enough to say, nah, I think I'll keep my body parts to myself, right? Yeah, I mean, it is bizarre what people will do for money and what they will do for pleasure, and the combination of the two. What a business, right? What a freaking business. Let's cash in on people's sick perversions, right? Oh yeah, there was a period in my life where, sex and perversion and pleasure was what it was all about, and for me, those days were called puberty. And puberty lasted from about, I don't know, about 13 to 30, I guess, right? And which is about the right time frame, right? The right period of time to really be sexually active, because that's when you want to find a mate and what do you call it? procreate. But I mean, other than that, it's just self-gratification. I mean, and then if you're having sex to pump out kids, and your reason for having sex is because, well, God says that we gotta, you know, what is that? What was that phrase? Be plentiful and multiply, or some shit like that, which was great when, when there was a couple of million people on the planet max, right? And we needed more, I guess we needed more people to charge rent to. I don't know why we have, this many people on this poor planet, and most of the people are poor people on this fucking poor planet. I mean, it's like people are having huge families just for the sake of having huge families. There's no reason to have more than 2 kids per couple. There's really not. I don't understand the thinking behind, I gotta have 8 kids, I gotta have 6, I gotta have 20 kids. I don't fucking get it. I don't. And if there's something in your world, your life, your reality that's telling you that you need to have that many kids, you need to back the fuck up and think that, well, maybe this isn't my world solely, right? I got to share this world with other people. Let's not be selfish and greedy, Let's not have more than 2 kids per couple, I mean, what happens when we get too many people? We get famine, we get war, we get disease, pestilence. I mean, come on. Get. Since when in history has overpopulation ever done anything good, right? Well, if there wasn't overpopulation, we wouldn't have won that war. Well, yeah. I mean, look at how many people died in World War II, right? America lost what? 100 and something thousand, maybe, during World War II, right? I mean, that includes, I think, the Allies. Is that right? And yet there were upwards of over 60 million people killed in World War II, right? Millions of Jews, millions of people just starved out of existence, literally would take out 100,000 people in a whack. What was all that about? That was definitely had to do with population control. All right. It was like some idiots on the planet decided, well, we got too many of this kind of people, so we need to thin them out a little bit or they're going to overrun us, which is exactly what eugenics was, right? Eugenics. Let's see if we can find excuse me, chickens. Excuse me, slide whistle. EU, right? Egg wiped. Let's go here to Egypt and let's look up eugenics. EU, right? I'm going to say is how you spell eugenics. Eskimo, Estonia, ethics. Oh, yeah, there's something that people don't worry about too much anymore. Europe, Europe. Someone on Europe here. Euripides, Europa. Colors. Wow. Let's see. Humans. Eugene. We're getting close. History of eugenics. Okay, here we go. Wow. The basis of eugenics. There is a lot of stuff on eugenics here. Well, let's just get into an overview here. Eugenics, introduced in 1883 by Sir Francis Galton, the term eugenics is derived from the Greek eugenes, meaning well-born. Although Galton originally gave eugenics a broader meaning, it has come to be applied primarily to research and programs intended to improve man's genetic constitution. Many eugenic theories and proposals are like those used in the breeding of plants and animals. The major difference between breeding programs and eugenic proposals lies in the inherent difficulties of defining which genetic qualities are desirable in humans and of instituting societal control over human reproduction for an account of plant and non-human animal breeding programs. C, breeding. Okay, so breeding. Modern eugenics has two major areas of interest. The first is extension of the present knowledge of the modes of inheritance and desirability of the various human characteristics. The second interest of eugenics is the generation of a schema intended to improve genetic qualities through what Galton called agencies under the social control. So basically, let me find a bookmark. Galton proposed that by weeding out the morons and the imbeciles, we could have a better humanity. All right, because we could decide. All right, if you people are a bunch of mouth-breathing, slack-jawed fucking morons, you really shouldn't be allowed to reproduce because you're just going to beget more slack-jawed, mouth-breathing morons, which, as we know by looking out in the world today, is totally factual. All right. You've got entire regions of the country and the globe populated by idiots, another term that was phrased back then. Complete and utter fucking idiots raising more idiots to raise then more idiots, right? And it just goes on and on and on. When does it stop? Well, it stops when, when some asshole comes along and says, you know what? I'm better than everybody else, so I'm going to decide who gets to reproduce and who doesn't, right? Why does it have to be some act? Because humanity is not smart enough to govern itself. That's it. When the whole of humanity has become an entire population of slack-jawed, mouth-breathing morons, then no, they have no control. They have no willpower. They have no desire to smarten up their gene pool at all. So what happens? The world is overrun by greedy individuals who just want to suck up all of the natural resources and be sold garbage, basically, because they're stupid enough to buy into the garbage that the ad men are selling us. Because this humanity's been sold down the river big time. Because it's easier to sell humanity crap than to try to teach humanity about being more human, right? It's that people don't want to be human anymore. They want to be half machine, half human cyborg things with these devices attached to their face. And if that's all you think about is getting your jollies off, entertain me, suck me off, and let me go to sleep, and then I'll get up and do it again tomorrow. That's not humanity. That's a bad fucking video game. That's a bad science fiction movie. That is what is that? THX 1138, right? Is that what it is? Is that what I'm thinking about? Not the production company, but the movie. Robert Duvall, George Lucas production. Um, I even think Donald Pleasance is in it, right? Um, but it's a future society where everybody is controlled by the media and pharmaceuticals, and their only purpose in life is to do these little menial tasks um, that help, some futuristic entity um, that requires humans to be slaved. We're policed by robots. Um, we're told when to take pills, what pills to take, when to go to sleep, when to wake up, when to go to work, how to feel, how not to feel. And it's such a reflection of what's going on today. Well, it looks like we're at the 6 o'clock hour, and it is Monday, February 19th, 2024. Reverse Van Winkle here in the future. I've come a long way from the past to be here, and it doesn't mean I want to be. I got no choice. I'm stuck here in the future, and I need to warm up my coffee. I didn't want this future. I was promised a completely different future than I am living. So much so that I am required to devote my present to living in the past, because this world outside is not the world I signed on for. Nope, not a chance. Can anybody tell me who starred with Cyndi Lauper in that movie and what the name of it is? It's a movie about a psychic girl in, I think, New York, maybe. Whatever her accent is. Right, it's probably Ohio. She's the movie's set in Ohio or something. Anyway, hit me up. At some point, somebody's going to watch this and go, I know what he's talking about. So, if anybody's showing up here late, try to do this. What a beautiful day. It is. It's a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. If you can get up and have some coffee, well, you're off to a great start, right? Yeah. And I'm open to shirts. If anybody's got any shirt ideas or has any shirts they want to throw my way, I'm an extra large. If it runs small, I'll do a double extra large. So give me an idea where I can find some cool shirts. I gotta go out and do some shirt shopping here pretty soon. I usually wear shirts. Well, I always wear shirts that have something meaningful on them for me. Something that toes, wiggle your toes, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Something that has meaning in my life. Def Leppard. While I listened to a lot of Def Leppard on the radio and on MTV and VH1 and stuff, it was unintentional. But it does definitely make up part of the soundtrack of my youth for sure. I can't hear a Def Leppard song from the 80s without thinking, wow, man, fucking 80s were awesome. Let's do some cocaine. Oh, nowadays, this coffee is about as cocaine as I get. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Anyways, so let's see. I'm gonna grab my other book over here really quick so we can get into something else. Okay. Okay. It's not a Roger, but it will do. It is a Merriam-Webster. And I think I have a Roget's Thesaurus around here somewhere, but this one will do. I know I've got two of these. This is a bit older, I believe. Let's see what year this one is. This is, of course it is. This is a 1989 copy of Roget's Thesaurus. So it won't have a lot of the, well, it won't have any of the modern day crap in there. We won't hear about what a meme is or what a website is or any of those other weird words. So we're just going to take this book and we're just going to thumb through it. We're going to open it up and we're going to look for a word. All right. And we're going to come down to this word here. And, well, we know what manifest means. Manifold, mankind, man-like. Let's find this mangy, mangled. Let's find us a really good word on this open area here. A lot of these say see this and see that, see this and see that, right? So manslayer, mantic. Let's see what mantic means. See prophetic. All right. So let's go to prophetic. Prophetic. Profane. So where were we at? Oh, Lord. Mantic. So mantic to prophetic. So mantic and prophetic. Prodigal. Prophetic. Proficient. Profitable. Profuse. Profane. Yeah, you won't find promosm in here either. Okay, where are we looking for? Oh, pH, that's why. Pro. I'm looking for an F. What an idiot. Okay, prop, here we go. Prophet. Prophetic. Okay. Relating to or characteristic of a prophet or prophecy. Old woman seemed to have a prophetic power. See apocalypse. Synonym is apocalyptic. Delphian, fabric, mantic, ocular, prophetical. Huh. All right. There we go. Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. Mantic is prophetic. Mantic. I wonder if there's like a womantic, yeah. Or what does romantic have anything to do with mantic, right? Manticulous. Manticularitis. All right. Oh, look. It's a little bender. A little bender guy. All right. So there you go. There's the word of the day, man. Dig up a definition of mantic in itself. And this is the New Webster Britannica, the New Britannica Webster Dictionary and Reference Guide. This is also from the past because I have a thing for old books. Where is my copyright information? Copyright information is 1981. So there you go. Let's go to the M here. And N-O. There we go. L-M-N-O-P. 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 Let's go to mantic. See if we can find that word mantic. Mantic man. Man. Manitou. Ooh, Manitou. Ooh. One of the Algonquin deities or spirits dominating the forces of nature. All right, where's mantic? Man size. Wow. Totally. Manifold. Mannered. Manpower. Mansard. Man size. Mantilla. Mantis. Of course, we're not going to get mantic here, right? Manticore. A manticore is a legendary animal with the head of a man and the body of a lion and the tail of a dragon or scorpion. Wow, manticore. Oh. Wow. I didn't know that. Well, I'm not finding mantic in here. So we're just going to have to go with prophetic. Of course, I can turn my phone on and find out a little bit. We'll just leave this here for now. But yeah. Words, people. Words. Like them words. Throw me some words. So we want to try to shake things up here in the morning. So if you guys have some suggestions for morning rituals here, my main morning rituals seem to be coffee, weed, cereal bar, and blah, blah, blah. So I've got these reel-to-reels over here. I've got a stack of Senator Tunney, California Senator Tunney, from 1970-74 election race. So I'll have to load those up onto the old reel-to-reel here and record it. And share it on YouTube, because I do have a lot of crap around here that can still be shared. It doesn't have any copyright on it, so it's good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Do I play the drums? Do I? I can bang on the drums. I can keep a beat. I'm not great. I fancy myself a quick study, but most of all, a pretender. I became a pretender as a child out of necessity in order to fit in. I'm sure, like most people do. And there's a lot of people out here in the world who don't realize that they're just a pretender, that they're just pretending. You see a lot of pretenders in church. I used to go to church with my wife, and I would see most of the people in there through the motions, right? They were just there because that's where they were supposed to be. Their mothers, their grandmother, everybody had told them, look, this is what you got to do. Every Sunday, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to, go through all these rituals. But there's a huge disconnect between people and the actual reason they're in church. And that's what always struck me as odd, is you get the people who are constantly looking at their watch. They're completely uninvested in what's being spoken to them. And it's like they're just there to show the boss that they showed up, basically. All right. It's like when people go to work and they don't really care about their job anymore. They're just there to collect a paycheck. All right. It's like I see a lot of these people in the churches, and I'm not an idiot. I'm not a complete, uninvolved person. I mean, I've been out in the world. I've seen what's going on out there. And the people who are just there, to make sure they get into heaven, or they're just there because if they're not, mom's upset with them. Did you go to church today? All right. How come I didn't see you in church? While their mother may be completely invested in the reason she's there, she's got a whole family of kids who are like, that's mom's thing, and we'll just go to make her happy, or the kids that have to be forced to go to catechism classes because they don't know about anything, and they don't understand the significance of why they're there and what's going on. So I stopped going to church because I just saw hypocrites, and then myself, being not of any particular faith, I saw myself as a hypocrite, right? Why am I going to go to church and take something away from someone else? All right. And that's how I felt. I felt like I had no part being in a place that first of all wasn't for everyone. It was only for a select few. You got to meet the criteria in order for anyone. Sure, church is for everybody. Can go to church. Anybody can walk into a church and sit down and find out about Jesus and about Buddha and about all this other stuff. And it's not really like that. I mean, it's a club, all right, and it's membership only, And if you don't join the club, then you don't really receive all of the benefits. You're just an outsider, And when they tell someone, oh, you can't be remarried in the church because your husband isn't of the faith, and so therefore, if you marry outside the faith, then you can't come in and receive communion. And it's like, really? So your God is going to put all of these limitations on whether or not I can go and take part in these ceremonies, right? So no, once we got to that point, I decided, you know what, church isn't really for me. All right, it's a members only club, and I'm not a member. I'm never going to be a member. All right. while I am religious and I am spiritual, I don't go in for rules and regulations and people telling you to get down on your knees and kowtow and to bow and fear and all of that. No, I don't do that. No, no. My God doesn't do that. All right. You know, my God's not going to say, well, I'll only bless you if you accept all of this as your reality. You know, and maybe one doesn't want to accept any one reality. Maybe it's all reality. All right. And by saying, well, I'm only going to accept it, this is reality, you're shutting yourself off completely to all this other reality out there. Right. So that's why I don't go in for one particular religion or one aspect of one religion or many religions. No, I try to be open-minded and look at it all as one big picture and many aspects of one piece of pie, right? Um, I refuse to think that there's only one right religion on the planet. There's only one right way to experience the spiritual side of humanity, right? Um, so, no, if you're going to come at me and say, "Well, that religion is the devil," or that religion is wrong, then you're wrong. All right, flat out. If that's what your religion preaches, that there's only one way and only one God and only one way to think, well, then you're wrong. Period. And you need to take your head out of your ass and start thinking about the world as a very diverse and different place. You know, my God may not look like your God, right? But then again, if it is God, then it's all the same God anyway, right? And since we are actually God within ourselves, then all of this finger pointing, right, is pointless. Finger pointing is pointless. Now that's silly. I gotta warm up my coffee. You know, if you want to talk religion and spirituality, that's fine. But you must realize that, you know, there's more than just that little tiny kernel that you've been fed your whole life. All right. There's a whole world and a whole giant history of humans trying to understand what is going on, right? And to just just glom onto one thing and say, "This is me, this is it." Um, you just prove your ignorance. You just, you take off your shoes and get pregnant, get that slave job, work in the mine, and just shuffle off with everybody else. All right, because if your head is up your ass, you can't think for yourself, and your head is full of shit. You know, so I will never say that I'm better than anyone or that the way I think is the way that everybody should think. All right, but the way I feel is that there's a lot more going on than one faction of humanity would like us to believe, right? Because if it's one faction of humanity trying to get you to believe something or buy into an idea or ideal, more than likely, they just want to control you and sell you something or tax you or get you to fight a fucking war over something stupid. You know? Has not humanity had enough stupidity, especially from those in charge, right? Why do we give them authority if they don't know what the fuck they're doing? I don't know. Okay, going in. No wedgie, no wedgie. I need a Van Halen shirt. That's what I need. Yeah, some Thin Lizzy. I need a good Aerosmith shirt, a good old Aerosmith, like Toys in the Attic Aerosmith type shit. Right? And an early Kiss shirt, right? Yeah, their early stuff, pre-80s. That was my Kiss. I didn't really go into any of the post Unmasked or any of that right around the Unmasked period. Yeah, it started to get a little weird. I mean, they were always you could tell that they were capitalists from the start, but their music had this raw garage band quality to it, and the first few albums from the 70s. That's my period of Kiss. Kiss, Animal, or Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill. Yeah, that's the shit there. I've got some Kiss on 8-track, and then I think I've got one Kiss LP. But you know what? I try not to get too involved into one group collecting because I don't want to feel like I'm greedy, I guess. I don't want to feel like I'm too into one thing, one lopsided. All I've got is like heavy metal, man, or like all I've got is like well, I do have a lot of Iron Maiden. All of my Iron Maiden that I have is from the 80s. I don't have anything after the 80s from Iron Maiden. Actually, I do. I have one. It's like a triple live album. And I got that just because it's fucking bitchin'. But other than that, I think I've got one CD that a friend gave me. And it's like, and I love Iron Maiden. But for me, Iron Maiden, it was the Maiden of the 80s. And if I just can't get into anything because it seems to me like it's all derivative of everything that they perfected in the 80s. Every album that came after, Somewhere in Time, and Power Slave. I mean, after those albums, you really start to see similarities in all of their albums after that. Okay, it was like a formula. Here's a recipe to how to make an album, and we're going to follow this recipe exactly every single time. It's like Stephen King writing a book. He's got to follow his recipe in order to write a book. So I kind of got bored with New Maiden. Same thing with Judas Priest. I just got bored with it. Everything just kind of began to be the same. Even after they changed singers for a little while, it was still, I didn't get anything out of it. And you get like groups like Firefall, where they are still producing albums, they're still touring, they're still producing music very similar to what they were producing in the 70s, right? And in the 80s. But their new stuff doesn't sound exactly like their old stuff. It's not like they followed a chart to say, okay, we gotta have this kind of song here, and we gotta have this ballad here, and we gotta have this chord progression on this song here, and we gotta have this slow down, and we gotta have this bridge. They don't do that. Lick it and stick it. see what happens. Totally. So, if you're watching at any time, whether I'm here or this is on a playlist, feel free to write in the comments and ask me about anything at all, whether it's something in my life, something in the world, a recipe. Ask me about anything in this room. At some point, you'll see another angle of this room, so you'll have more idea of what's here. Over here right now, it's all music. There's just drums and guitars and bass, and it's just all a mess. At some point this week, it'll get cleaned back up, and the drums may get pushed back out to the garage. But for now, I have the ability to create whatever I can, whenever I can, whenever I want. And that's cool. What more could you ask for? I'm going to have to put my camera on a small little swivel so I can turn it around. Yeah, the camera angles are going to keep changing because I want you to see more of what I got going on here. Look at my lava lamp is actually lavaing. Look at it. Where is it? Here it is back here. My lava lamp. And it's like really slow right now. It's still waking up. So for sure. Oh yeah, it's still chunky. It's still chunky. Yeah. So here's some more 8 tracks here next to me. Let's see. I got a lot of ELO because I'm an ELO fanatic. But here is Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster. Of course, it's missing the label. Anybody know where I can get a label for a Molly Hatchet on Epic? That would be very, very cool. I don't know if this is one of those record and tape club versions. But if someone could get me a label, that would be great. Hair soundtrack, Cars, Candy-O, the Blues Brothers soundtrack, the Eyes of Laura Mars soundtrack, On the Third Day, Electric Light Orchestra, a whole bunch by Jerry Reed and Chet Atkins, The Knack. There's Def Leppard, Pyromania, right there. Let's see if we can dig this guy out of here. There we go. And there is my Def Leppard, Pyromania. Right. In fact, let's get up and show it to y'all on the camera here because, 8 tracks are so cool. All right, here we go. Pyromania, and then on the back, got the set list. Yeah. Pyromania, people. Def Leppard. This is great stuff, It's like so cool. All right. Oh my God, shut up. Quit talking like that. Well, it's been about an hour and a half this morning. And I guess everybody's still asleep. It is Monday, right? Who wants to get up on Monday morning and do anything? Oh my God, no way. And, if you're out there, hi, I'm here. So I had fun coming up with this bass line for a bass riff for this 25, 30-second um, theme song, right? Um, and it just tore up my index finger because I do not play the bass. I'm not a bass player. I don't have fingers for the bass. And that top E string just, it's just grinder, man. Just a grinder. It's like one of those wire saws. That's what it feels like. You know, one of those garrote wires to cut people's heads off with, or one of those wires that just saw down trees with branches and shit. That's what that. By the end of the song, when I finally got it recorded, this that's what this felt like. It felt like I was just, you know, sliding down razor wire. Horrible, and it's still 10. You know, and that was a couple of days ago. And I really only played that bass for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Oh, and it just chewed me up. I mean, probably not even that. I mean, it was probably within an hour. Had the bass line figured out, practiced it, and recorded it. And that was like, oh no more. I think I did it in one take. Well, I'm going to say I did it in one take. I practiced the hell out of it really quick. And since it was a short, you know, short song, short musical treatment, yeah, I was able to get it over with quick. Thank goodness. I could not take it much longer. There's 6 lines, literally 6 lines of lyrics. Three chords, of course, 3 chords. Acoustic strumming, so they're full chords. I need to get into adding the electric power chords in there. And then some kind of electric guitar hook. Because, you know, the 80s, the themes really had to have that hook, you know. Muy importante. Look at this lion. Okay, so these are books on the wild America. Records. Everything down below here, behind me, is all classical. These records down in here. So we can spin this way. There we go. All of these colored ones here. This is just a great collection of classical music from all different periods and locations. It's really cool. I'm really happy with my record collection at this point. It's missing. It's got a lot of holes. It's missing a lot of stuff. But at the same time, it's so widely diverse that if you ask for just about any genre of music, I'll be able to find you something. So hit me up and we'll discuss and I'll see what I can pull up. But yeah, I won't lead you. So you just ask me if do you have this particular genre of music? Do you have this, do you have that? I'm not going to lead you into anything. So you ask me, what are you into? Right? Because no matter what you ask, if it is 90s or maybe more than likely pre-90s, All right, while I do have a lot of new stuff and post 80s stuff, most of what I have is going to be from the 80s and before. So you have to play fair. If you're going to ask me about a genre, it has to be from the past. It can't be of the last 30 years. It's got to be before. It's got to be, 35 years ago. Ask me about a genre. All right, and that's playing fair, because while I do have new music and music of today, more than likely, if it's from the mid 90s to the present, my daughter's going to have it in her collection. I do have stuff from the mid 90s to the present here in this collection around me. So if you ask me about something post 80s, you might get lucky and I might actually have something here. But I won't guarantee it. Yeah. Good coffee. So let's see. We're going to get back into the old marijuana. Looks like I'm going to need to go and get a refill here. Getting great deals down at the the shop that I go to. While I did enjoy the setting and the ambiance and the venue of the 420 Bank down in Palm Springs, it felt like a business. It really did. It felt like you were there to buy, and they didn't have a huge selection. They had a very diverse selection of items, but individually they didn't have a huge selection of marijuana flower. All right, they had only a couple of brands, none of the brands that I like, and the brands that I like are found in a lot of places, so I settled when I went there, so I won't be going there for my consumables. Oh, there goes that neck. But Lord, I'll stick to my my other store, GPO Green Pearl Organics in Desert Hot Springs. I can't say enough good things about them. Accommodating. Their prices are great. Their selection is great. While they do run out quite frequently of things, because they have such a huge selection, I can always find something to my taste. The last time I got this hot box, that I've had hot box before, hot box brand, this Paris OG Indica was pretty good. It was pretty good. The price is right. While I don't condone or say, well, you should go out and try smoking marijuana someday. If you're not already a marijuana smoker, don't start. If you don't smoke cigarettes, don't start. There's no sense in it, especially nowadays. Especially if you want to enjoy marijuana, you can just eat an edible, all right, and it's a lot safer. There's like no harmful side effects by eating an edible, other than maybe going to sleep or right in the fridge, right? So if you're going to start using marijuana for any reason, recreation or medicinal, go with the edible and go with something as natural as possible, all right? Something with the least detriment to your health. Smoking anything is going to give you cancer at some point. So if you don't smoke already, don't start. And if you do smoke, well, you're screwed, right? You should probably stop or at least limit yourself. I try to limit my smoke by using these little tiny one-hitters, so I'm not packing a bowl full and then not just smoking that whole bowl, but all of the dark black soot and resins and tars and stuff that build up in that bowl, that every time you light it, you're reheating that stuff and taking in that smoke as well. That's not good for you. I try not to smoke joints, because you light a joint, you're just going to wind up smoking the whole thing. I bought a joint at the club the other night and smoked the whole thing. Actually, I smoked it down to a pretty good sized butt, and I just had to put it out. Mainly because it wasn't all that great. It's nothing that I would go out and spend my money on regularly. I mainly smoked the joint because I could, not because I wanted to. It's like you say, you know what, you can do this in public now. It's allowed. You can buy it here, and you can enjoy it here. And so for the experience, I bought a joint and smoked it there at the club. Would I do it again? Probably not. I'd probably just smoke my own shit, right? Nobody gave a shit what you were smoking there, whether it was theirs or yours. So, and I could have smoked my own. I had my shit with me. I just wanted to have the experience. But yeah, if you're not a smoker, don't start. Find, you can drink the stuff now. They'll put it in liquids and stuff that you can drink. I wouldn't even go so far as to say vaping it is healthy, because there's not enough information on that yet. The tests haven't come back. All of you test subjects out there who have been vaping for years can probably attest to the fact that it ain't a good idea. It ain't the safe way to smoke anymore. No, there's no safe. And I can't even guarantee that eating it is safe, because, I mean, if they put pesticides in our food and in our fruits and vegetables and stuff, and then we take those fruits and vegetables and concentrate them into a juice, well, now aren't we getting more and more and more of those pesticides and stuff packed down into that one bottle of juice, right? So if you think of the same way with marijuana, well, if they're doing perverse things to the marijuana while it's growing, and then they condense it down into wax or some form of edible, or more of those harmful things packed into a smaller amount, probably. So I can't guarantee that all edibles are going to be healthy or good for you, or at least non-harmful. But I can say that at this point, smoking is probably the worst way to go when you're enjoying marijuana. Although for, thousands of years, hundreds of years, or whatever, that was the way to do it, because that's what we had. So, take care of yourselves, and while I use marijuana to help me take care of myself, get through the chronic pain and depression, I have to limit myself, because it's smoke, right? And I have been smoking regularly on a daily basis since I was 15. Now, there have been time periods where I've taken months and years off from smoking marijuana, but it was just replaced with cigarettes, right? So it's like, no, it's no fair, you know. And there were times in my life where I was smoking cigarettes and marijuana at the same time, and doing a host of other harmful things to my body. But while I do go through a considerable amount of marijuana on a weekly basis, um, it's my usage is probably no worse, if probably better than when I was younger. Because I could put away, an ounce of weed in a week in my um, younger days, like 30s, 40s. But can you hear the drum catching my voice? But yeah, I I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke a whole lot. If I had, if I had the means, I would just smoke 24/7. In fact, I used to, even 10 years ago. Sometimes I would, insomnia would wake me up in the middle of the night, and I just couldn't get back to sleep, and I'd have to sit up, and 3 in the morning, I'd be up getting high, watching a movie, trying to get back to that sleep state. Um, very, very difficult, especially with insomnia and depression. Um, insomnia makes you stay awake. Depression makes you want to go to sleep. Um, and when they meet, it's horrible. You know, horrible. So TV shows. I started getting back into Airwolf, Donald P. Belisario production, the guy who got involved with Black Sheep Squadron. At some point, he became involved, and then brought us Magnum PI and Airwolf and Quantum Leap and Jag and just a whole bunch of great television shows throughout the 80s, 90s, and up into the present. I think he's involved with, isn't he involved with Blue Bloods? Is that what I'm thinking? Anyway, somebody hit me up. I know NCIS, I think that's him as well. Because he was a Navy man. So each one of his shows, there is a naval thread. All right. Magnum was in the Navy. The guy, Quantum Leap, the one guy was in the Navy, I believe. I can't remember his name. The older character in the show. And then the Airwolf. Now, Airwolf, I believe, was Air Force, which is, is different because everything has pretty much been Navy with him. So maybe Airwolf is a bit of a twist, but then again, maybe not. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, and there is a naval thread in there that I just don't see. Now, CPO Sharkey has a naval thread, but that's more like naval lint because it's not Belisario. But there's one that I've been watching, and I'm kind of I'm wondering what the hell they're going to do. The recruits have gone through basic, and they've come through basic and they've graduated, but they're still there. So at some point, is he going to get new recruits, or are they going to keep these guys around for the sake of the show? I don't understand where they're going with this. Or maybe that was the downfall of the show. We can't just keep bringing in new guys every season. But we'll see. We'll see. Coffee is over. That's a bummer. But the weed's still here, so it ain't so bad. It ain't so fucking bad. All right, so there's a lot of people out there, right? And they're watching this. They're going, oh my God, he's going to smoke more marijuana. Oh my God, look at him. He just smokes that stuff all day. But they've smoked, if they've been here for the last 2 hours, they've probably smoked no less than a half a dozen cigarettes, right? So if you're out there and you're watching and you've had no less than a half dozen cigarettes in the last 2 hours, but you're gonna go scoff at me for having 3 or 4 hits of marijuana, well, then you just go right ahead and scoff. You just go right ahead, because you've got to be holier than thou, right? You got to be way better than me, because you have, what, booze and tobacco or, you know, Jeebus. I mean, you tell me what you got in your life that makes you better than me. Nothing, because nothing I got in life makes me better than you, right? I am me, you are you, and we are we, right? So, you know, if you want to get on that kick about, man, what's this dude's fucking problem, man? I mean, he keeps fucking doing all this weird shit, man. Well, look, hello, change the channel, man. Change the freaking channel. Aside from getting vulgar, I could do whatever the fuck I want, you know. And I'm not here to say, I'm here to say that I'm better than anyone else, because I'm not. And I'm not here to promote some fantastic way of life that everybody else. All right, politics. There's a cult for you. Most religions, those are cults. Um, Law enforcement establishments, those are cults. All right. You get in, you get brainwashed into a certain way of doing things, and then, you know, you join up some kind of military faction service, and you get the humanity beaten out of you in basics. So, but by the time you're done, you're an empty sponge, and you can just be pointed. You know, go over there and point your weapon and just kill everything over there, okay? Because I'm the boss, and that's what I'm telling you to do, right? That's a cult, all right? You feed these guys, you know, garbage, so they got no way to think for themselves. You wash all of the personality out of them. Uh, you stifle their emotions, you know, and then you make them go out there and kill. And then when they come back, you give them no rehabilitation. You just chuck them back out on the world to us. That's not nice. That's not nice. You know, make it our problem now. You know, you take these nice individuals and you turn them into vicious monsters and then release them back to us. That's not fair. And then make them our responsibility. Call them heroes and make them our responsibility. Here's your heroes back. No, we get used up, you know, shells of human beings returned to us who just want to kill themselves or kill others or run away and hide, you know. Yeah, you get a handful that actually come back and got it together. But then you wonder, if they come back and they got it so together, well, what the fuck's wrong with them that's making it okay for what they did? You know, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. You know, I don't think I'm ever going to get it. I guess I'll go to my grave not understanding the logic behind politics and war and religion and how they all converge together to create, you know, the crap that we see. I mean, give me a break, right? It's just too much. Maybe tomorrow we'll play a game, right? We'll definitely have some more trivia. Oh, oh, wow, that's heavy. Let's see, it's been 2 hours. Anybody contacted me yet? Nope. That's heavy. I was hoping I'd get a message this morning and I'd be going out to do some fun stuff, some recording or something. But we will have to see. We will have to see. Let's see. Do we do anything else exciting this weekend? No, not really. I mean, Friday, I pretty much took another day of rest. And then we went out Friday night, and Saturday, of course, I spent the whole day fiddling about with musical stuff. Sunday, I cleaned house. Not my house, of course. Shh. Don't even go there. Last night, I got, you know, things hooked back up after my recording stuff, because I had wires and shit going on in here like you ain't never seen. I don't just record with audio, I like to record with the video as well, so that I have the option of using video from the recording, the original recording, for something. And the theme that I recorded is no different. I believe I recorded all 4 parts, audio and video, while I only transferred the audio from most of the videos, and digitized the audio only. I still have the video to go back and transfer and sync up with the audio, so that I'd like to do a Brady Bunch screen with all of me doing the Band on the Run version of my theme, so that I've got me playing all of the instruments together and singing, and that's, that's an option at some point, to put that little snippet of video together. My main concern right now, aside from editing this final version of what I have for the theme, is also to upload some guitar lead stuff. And then for the end of the video, especially, I would like to do the long instrumental version of my little snippet 30-second theme. So, yeah, I've got some some ideas, but since my talent is really limited, it's hard to bring those ideas to fruition, right? So I just have to wing it, and there are some spots where I don't really want to wing it. I want it to sound professional. And the end theme I want to sound more professional. The beginning theme, I want it to sound goofy and raw and fun. But the end minute or so of theme, I want it to have that, the end of Magnum PI theme, the end of every, almost every series to the 70s, the 80s has this end theme that is just the melody of the opening theme, instrumentally done, and that's kind of what I want to go for. I've got ideas for the Let's Go to the Movies show that I want to do, but while the opening theme is only going to be about 20 or 30 seconds, I want the end theme to be the extra long version of that. So it'll actually have lyrics throughout the whole thing. It'll be an actual song, like the Laverne and Shirley theme, or the Fall Guy theme, where there's the version that we hear on the show, and then there's the real version, the theme to the Rockford Files. You hear the little bit on the TV show, but then you hear it on the radio, and it's the full 3-minute song. All right, so that kind of stuff. I want to have the whole, meat and potatoes in there at the end. Video segments, but they're going to be just mainly ambient music, background sound, strumming, classics kind of played out musically with just one guitar or something. Simple stuff. Yeah. Totally. So the next thing I'm going to be working on, and probably before I get this this one segment done, because the last thing I'm waiting on for this one segment is to perfect this 25-30 second theme song and do the end theme song, and then just kind of fill it in between with a little bit of strumming guitar, to kind of fill in some of the dead spots, right? Um, and then I think I'm going to be working on the family slideshow, a collection of my father's slides from um, the Vietnam era. Okay, so many of them will be of him in Vietnam. Um, None of the photos will be of him actually in combat. Everything that we have on slide is going to be from R&R or something on the base, um, but nothing out in the field. He didn't take a camera with him. There were guys that took cameras so that they could take pictures of dead bodies and, you know, people hacking off guys' ears and noses and fingers and shit. But that was not his forte. He was not there to show what a badass he was. He wasn't there to give himself nightmares. It was a job. He was sent there to do a job, and that's the way he looked at it. And he tried not to get personally involved with anything. He said that he tried real hard not to do anything that was going to give him nightmares. You know, and that's, I guess, the best you can do. You know, when you got to be there, you got to be there. Do what you got to do, and try to stay as close to your own um, ethics as possible. Right, your own. Try to stay you. Don't let that turn you into something you're not. And that's, I think, he did his best to accomplish that. Um, but the collection of slides should be really fun. It's a series of slides from, I believe, 1960. So there's a big chunk of time in there. Um, and I think I'm just going to do the slides. If I can get a friend to do some background music, I think some 1960s background would be appropriate. I don't want to do any heavy text over the top of any of the pictures. I'll probably open with a screen that explains what we're looking at and who it is, um, or who took the photos. Other than that, I know practically nothing about the slides personally. Um, my father has since passed away, and I have really no way of putting any information to these slides. So I'm not going to try. I'll give you his name and company, in the army that he was stationed with, and the period of time approximately, and possibly his rank if I can get a family member to help me out with that. Other than that, you're pretty much going to be on your own. Um, I'm hoping, against hope, that somebody at some point will watch these slides and possibly find themselves, or find that they were there, or they know someone who was there. So it should be interesting, to say the least. So that's one that I'm going to be working on. Um, it's a lot of slides to pack into a little, so I have to figure out how long I'm going to have each slide up there. Now, this being video, we can just pause it. So I'm probably not going to have the slides up for more than 5 seconds a pop, right? Because at 5 seconds a pop, that's That's what, 12 slides per minute. Am I right in my math? Either way, it's not going to be a lot of slides per minute. So we're looking at, God, 15, 20-minute, 30-minute video. I'll have to pull out my hard drive and count the slides and see how many are in it. And then I will probably limit the slide collection to just those in Vietnam. I don't think we have any slides of him in basic training. I think it's only a brief period of time that he had the camera on base. And then there are a collection of slides that are after that, before that, and then a few slides in between while he was in Vietnam. I'm not sure if they were taken because he was on leave or the camera was used and then sent to him and then he finished off the roll or vice versa. I don't know. But there are some slides that are of the same period as Vietnam. They aren't of Vietnam. And then there are more slides from about 68, all right, to about 75 that are just stuff. And I'm kind of saving that stuff for the family documentaries. Like They Call Me Mike. Of course, my name is Michael, but back then they called me Mike. And that's who I was. But there's a lot more to come as far as family documentaries. I would love to be able to get more input from but it's not likely. So I just kind of have to go with this on my own. Well, I would really love, especially my brother's involvement because he's older and would remember more. But trying to get family members to help out in any capacity in my life is like pulling teeth. So I try, and then I just shake my head and throw my hands in the air and walk away. You get to where you're constantly sending people messages, and you know that they're getting the messages because phones are smart, and it'll show you, look, there's a little icon there that says that this person has read this message, right? Yet, 20 messages go by and there's still no response. They've read every one of those messages, and they're just too busy to extract themselves out of their lives, or they're stuffing in their face to have a 5-minute conversation, because most of the time I just want a quick back and forth, hey, I got this going on, I need some information, can you help me, can we do a little, and it takes me so long to get in touch with somebody that by the time I do, it's like I'm past all of those things that I wanted to talk about, and now it's just like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, just whatever, so I just get frustrated and give up. And I'm at that point now with my remaining family. I try, and I must be a failure because, I try, and it just doesn't work. So me, myself, and I will work on these things, and they'll just have to be one-sided. My projects will have to be one-sided from my point of view, whether they're about my family or about the world or life or anything. It's going to have to be one-sided, because as much as I want family and friends of that same period to be involved, they don't want to be. So that's just the way it is. And I wish it was different. I wish I could get more back and forth. Weekly, bi-weekly, level. But I'd be lucky to get someone to call me back, every couple of months, really. And I'm not looking for somebody to hold my hand every day, all day long. My memory isn't that great, and I require assistance to pull things out and to get things recorded accurately. So if things aren't accurate, it's, it's not for me lack of trying to get help, you know. Um, but so if you're not going to help, don't come around later and then say, well, you didn't say that right, and that's not the way it happened. Well, that's the way I see it in my head. And if you're not going to help me get things down factually, then, you know, suck it, deal with it. It's the way it is. You either help or you don't help. Um, a lot of these projects I want to do because I want others to be involved and have some kind of input, because it's not just my past. Of course, it's just going to have to be my past, because the only thing I can get is my version of the fucking past. I mean, there's nobody who wants to share with me their version of the past. Or it's just so, you know, horrifying that they don't want to go back and relive it. Well, and that's fine. I had a horrifying past too. Am I going to run from it and hide from it and say, oh, that never happened. That wasn't me. That was somebody else. No, no. I'm not just going to get born again and move on and pretend like none of this shit ever happened, because it did. It made me who I am. Everything that happened in your past made you who you are. And if you're just going to say, that wasn't me, the only thing you're hiding from is yourself, right? I mean, give me a break. What, you're a grandparent now, so all of a sudden none of that ever happened, doesn't exist. You just wipe it off. How are you going to teach your grandchildren if you're going to hide from your own fucking past, right? Yep. And I know a lot of people like that. Very close friends and family who refuse to just refuse to admit that they had any part in the damage they did to their own lives or those around them, right? That wasn't me. I never did that. No, 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 no. That's a different person. You're lying. That wasn't me. It's like, oh my God, really? You can't just admit that, you were human and you did some things that maybe you're not proud of, you know? No. You turn the page, you don't turn the page anymore, people. You literally rip those fucking pages out and get rid of them so you never have to think about them. You know? Okay. If that's how you learn your lessons, so be it. You know? And if people aren't getting back to me because they don't want to be brought back to that period because they may have to fucking mea culpa over something they did, well, then that's fine. Hide, run, and pull the blankets over your fucking head and pretend like it didn't happen. Just plug your ears and scream really loud. Ah, 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 ah. That'll work. You know, but I don't forget everything. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I'm going to talk about it from my point of view. And if that disturbs you, well, then pick up the fucking comment thing there and chat. Talk to me. Tell me your version of what went on. I mean, if you're not going to contact me privately in a message so that we can discuss things and get the days and the facts and stuff right, well, then you just got to rely on my stupid memory, and that may make you feel like an idiot if I bring something up that is remembered wrong, right? So, yeah, there you go. There you have it. There it is. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, you know. People suck. People really suck, And I can say, looking into the mirror, right? Because people suck. I suck. You suck. Everybody sucks. I mean, look at the planet. Look at the people. Be a whole lot better, right? But basically, people suck on a basic level. Lost it. I mean, courtesy is gone, right? I mean, who doesn't return a message nowadays, right? Except for somebody who is discourteous and unpolite, rude, right? I mean, if you don't return a message after so long, you have to figure that this person does not want to talk to me, period. They're ignoring me, and that's the way I feel. When I send, a dozen messages to somebody and I don't get any response at all, period, nothing, not a fucking peep, not even an emoji, right? Nothing. And that's all that I require, is recognition. Hey, uh, I'm here. Don't you see me? No, I've never been fucking seen, especially by those who've known me the longest. The first thing they do when they see me is look away, close their eyes, pretend I don't fucking exist. And I'm really getting to the point of no return where I'm going to just stop reaching out. You know, Let it be on them. If they want to fucking reach out to me, fine. I can be the one who will constantly ignore those messages, no matter how important it may be to you. It just is not important to me because I'm not important to you, right? And I'm sick of being considered unimportant to the most important people in my life, right? So this is for you. You know who you are. Either message me or don't fucking message me. I don't give a shit anymore. Okay. I just don't. You know, you're either gonna be a part of my life, like I'm trying to make you a part of mine, or you just don't give a shit. And it's quite obvious you don't give a shit. You've got a lot more important stuff going on in your life than me. So go about it, take care of it, do whatever you got to do. Don't worry about me. Um, you know, you never have. You've only had the illusion. You've only pretended to give a shit because that's what you were told, right? Pretend to give a shit about him. Don't let him figure out the truth. Don't ever tell him the truth. You know, just make him think that he's a part of the family, but don't ever treat him like that, right? So I get it now. I understand. You know, um, it's pretty fucked up, but I get it. You know, everybody goes their own ways and does their own things. You know, um, I'm at that point in my life where I really need to reach out and have that interaction with past friends and family especially. Um, but I'm not going to sit there and fucking beg. You either do or you don't. You either want to, or you just can't find it within yourself. So you know, go about your business. I'm either here in your world or I'm not. Uh, and I get it. I'm not. So there. But I'm done reaching out. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm tired of the pain and I mean, it's like a knife that that goes right into your back and then right through your heart. You know, when every time you send a message and you wait 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 and you know that they've come and gone, they've seen it and they've moved on, and then you send another one because you know they were just there and saw it, hoping that they're going to latch onto this one and go, okay, right, we're here at the same time. Let's get together for a minute. No, no. I mean, when you can't even acknowledge the fact that someone is trying to get a back and forth, well, then there's a flat out message there, and that message is a big fuck you. That's what it is. That's what I get, you know. Uh, So yeah, every time I look back at my messages and think, well, somebody still hasn't gotten back to me, you know, and there are those people who I know will get back to me at some point. They're just not into their phones and their apps, right? They don't check their freaking apps regularly. And then there are those people who I know check their apps regularly because it's obvious, you know. You see the little icons next to your messages and you know somebody's read it. You know, they've seen it. They've seen it and they fucking moved on. They don't need, you know, they don't need you bringing them down, you know, or sideways or wherever the fuck that I take people, you know. And that's great. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, you know. There's nobody in my family who is my cup of tea. But I still treat them as family, and I still try to interact with them as family the best I can on my level, right? And I got one family member left, you know. And I'm, you know, at this point, I'm pretty much over that too, you know, because I'm sick of the one-sided, you know, relationship, you know, me begging for attention. Hey, remember me? Remember me? You know, so I must not be that important, you know, and I get it. I'm not that important, you know. There's other things that are more important, you know, other things, other people, other vices or whatever, you know. And if I'm not seen as important enough to be invited into your life, no matter how many times I say, "Hey, look at me," well then, you know, why do I even care, right? I keep going out of my way to involve people in my life who just don't give a fuck. You know, they've moved on. You know, that's old guy from the past. You know, we don't even want to go there. You know, all he can do is live in his little past world. You know, and that's, you know, that's fine. Whatever. You know, I'll be that guy. You know, I've been that guy in my family my whole life. You know, oh him, oh his emotions affect us. You know, oh he's gonna have some kind of reality in his life that is gonna make us feel, you know, make us feel right. You know, all I ever required was, you know, some fucking honesty and some communication. Never got that in my family. You know, at home here in my present family life, yeah, I get that honesty and communication. You know, it's the cornerstone of our freaking family here. In the past, with my, you know, my so-called birth family, my natural mother and father, so I've been told. Um, no, as much as I've wanted, I've never felt it. You know, I never gotten communication. I never gotten honesty. You know, I've gotten a lot of bullshit. I've gotten a lot of bullshit. Mother, father, brother, sister, aunts, uncles, grandparents, you name it. It's all been bullshit. I've gotten more honesty and communication from my in-laws than I ever got from my family, any of them. Um, and that goes for close friends who are like supposed to be like family. I got no back and forth with them either. As much as I try to reach out, you know, I get a lot of cold shoulder, you know. And if that's because there are people out there, you know, who are quicker with their mouth to run me down to everybody else, well, that's, you know, that's fine. If everybody's going to listen to that bullshit that other people are spouting, so be it. You know, all I can do is sit here and be honest and you know, expressive and courteous. You know, honesty. You know, um, I've this show. I've never been so honest in my life than I have been on this show. This is the most honest I have been about myself and my life. So if you want to know who I am, go back to season 1, episode 1, and start watching all of this shit, because then you'll find out who the fuck I am. You will know more about me through these you know, 30, 36, 37 episodes than anybody else, than any of my family members. My family has never taken the time to get to know me. You know, my mother and father never took the time to get to know me for who I am. They knew me for who they saw me as, or for what they saw me as. Same thing with my brother and sister. They never saw me for me. They saw me for who they felt I was, right? Their version of who I am, you know. And that's pretty much the way it goes with everybody, right? We don't really look at anybody the way they are. We look at them how we see them, right? And with my family, you would think that a family member would really know who you are, and they don't. They've never taken the time to ask me questions, you know, about what I like, what I dislike, what's going on in my head. Especially, nobody ever wanted to know what was going on in my head, you know, which led to a lot of my antisocial behavior. You know, if nobody ever wants to talk to me on a one-on-one level, you know, about anything other than what they want to talk about, well, they're never going to get to know me, right? And they never did, and they never tried. You know, friends, family, teachers, coworkers. No, I mean, no. As much as I, you know, would go out of my way to find out about them and their lives and what was going on with them and who they were, no, they would see me in their heads the way they want to see. They would just decide, you know what, I don't want to know anything about that guy. You know, just keep it to yourself, dude. So there you go. You know, so you know, my family members can say, well, those that are left can say whatever they want about me, and they usually do, and they have, and that's because they don't know me. They've never taken the time to get to know me. Brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, uncle, grandparent, nobody. You know, even my closest friends from back in the day, um, they still talk about me and look at me as if they know me, and they don't. I mean, I don't look at them from the past, and that's it. And that's all anyone knows about me, because that's all they care to know. You know, I'm hoping that this is going to, at some point, foster some back and forth between people who actually want to get to know me and allow me to get to know them. You know, because I've never gotten that in my personal life with family and friends, other than my wife and daughter. Period. I mean, and that goes for close friends, that I've lived and worked with, and they never took the time. As much as I took the time to know and learn about them, they never, you know, they just wanted to see me as this. He's just that kooky guy, and they'd pigeonhole me into one, you know, into one character, and that was it. They'd find a character flaw, and that was me. He's that flaw, you know, and they would just always see me as that one thing, you know. Um, like at work, I would go a job, and somebody would find out that I went to a couple of Grateful Dead concerts, right? And then I would be that. From then on, at that job, I would be, oh, he's that guy that followed. He's that deadhead that followed the dead, right? He's a Grateful Deadhead, and I was never that. But people pigeonhole me into that because they find out one thing about you, and then you're that from then on, and that's the way it is with my family. My family knows something about me that I'm unaware of, and they see me as that, and they'll only ever see me as that, right? And I can't get away from that. So as much as I try to reach out to them and be involved with them, they're only ever going to see me as that, and they don't want to be involved with that, so they turn me off, and that's it. And then they don't have to deal with that issue, whatever that issue is, you know. And I feel like it's getting to that point now. It's coming to a head to where, um, you know, family members are seeing that I'm getting wise to what's transpired in the past. And because mother and father aren't around, and can't tell me the truth, it's their responsibility, and they don't want to be responsible for having the information that they've had their entire lives about me, right? and I don't feel like I'm paranoid. If you knew the whole story, you'd understand that, um, you know, there's a lot going on in in my family dynamic that leads me to think that I'm not entirely of this family, right? Uh, so I can't get a straight answer from anyone. And then the more I try to, you know, poke and prod people about the reality of my situation, all they want to do is change the subject, right? So, yeah, I mean, without blatantly coming out and saying, hey, you know, is my father really my father? Is my mother really? I mean, who's who and what's what? You know, without coming out and saying that, you know, um, there's nothing really I can do because nobody wants to just come clean and say, hey, you know, I realize you've been struggling with these, you know, with these issues for a long time, and maybe I can help you out with some information, you know, reality. You know, here's the reality of what is going on with you and who you are, you know, and short of taking a DNA test, you know, um, I'm just going to have to keep to myself because nobody wants to discuss any of it, you know. Um, so yeah, you know, and you can come around later, you know who you are. You can come around later and get upset about why are you discussing this stuff to the whole fucking world? Well, because it's my fucking life. And if you're not going to pick up the goddamn phone and talk to me in private, you know, then forget it. You know, get your own fucking channel and talk about your fucking life. You know, if you don't want to be a part of my life, then don't come around later claiming to be a part of my life. And how dare I? Right? This is, you know, you got your reality in your world, you know, and apparently my reality and my world just don't jibe with yours. All right, so I'm not even going to try to go there anymore. You know, pick up the phone or don't pick up the fucking phone. Answer the goddamn messages or don't. I don't care anymore. You know, family, friends, you know who you are. You know, I'm over it. You know, I got much more to worry about than whether or not I'm liked by people who I was raised with, right, or raised by, um, or people I'm supposed to be related to. I get better things to deal with, you know, than to worry about whether or not you like me, you know, because it's obvious you don't. You know, it's obvious that I've just been tolerated all these decades because you were told to tolerate me. I finally get it, you know, and like you, um, obviously, I just don't give a shit anymore. You know, take me or leave me. You know, and if you're not gonna take me the way I am, well, then just fucking leave me alone. Then, you know, if you can't accept the fact that I'm different, and maybe you have a clue as to why, you know, but you won't tell me, well, then, you know, whatever, what fucking ever. I'm getting sick of of jumping up and down and waving my hands and saying, "Hey, I'm over here. Hey, 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 hey." You know, because once again, that's just fucking rude, right? When you don't at least say, "Oh yeah, hi, I see you over there." You know, it makes me invisible. It leads me to believe that um, I'm not the complete cause of my own depression, right? Um, I mean, you know, what did I do to deserve such disrespect? I feel like all I had to do was be born, right? Um, so yeah, what are you gonna, you know? Apparently, there's there's nothing I can do to convince anyone to come clean and tell me about what the fuck's going on, or even just fucking have some back and forth. You know, most of the time when I'm talking to a family member, it's just small talk because I don't want to broach the serious subjects about. So look, you know, I figure you probably know what's going on. Information, please tell me, because it would really help me to understand, you know, who I am and why. And if you're too scared to, fucking write it down and tell me. You know, I can deal with that. You know, boo hoo hoo. You know, give me a break. You know, grow some man-sized fucking balls and, you know, speak some truth. You know, um, and that goes for any member of my fucking family. You know, if anybody in my family, you know, could come along and tell me what the fuck's going on, I'd appreciate it. Now, if you watch this and I'm already gone, well then shut the fuck up and keep it to yourself. Because to come along later and tell my wife and daughter or any other family member, um, once again, would be rude and discourteous. So let's just stay away from that. You know, hit me up in private. You know, otherwise, if you know what's going on and you're not gonna fucking tell me, then shut the fuck up. Just go away. Just fade away like you want me to fade away. But I'm on YouTube to stay, whether you like it or not. This is my life and my reality, and I'm going to express it however I wish. If it steps on somebody's toes and somebody's like, oh, you talk shit about me. Well, I'm trying not to use any names. I'm trying not to be specific about any one person or incident. But there's a lot that happened in my life that I'd like a little honesty about. And if I can't get that from people who probably have honest answers for me, well, then yeah, you're better off just not getting back to me. You know, pretend like I don't exist, because that's the way I've felt my whole life. You know, I only exist as far as I'm going to be a help to somebody, right? Or as long as I'm not you know, an emotional burden to someone. You know, I might make someone feel an emotion that they don't want to feel, so they're just going to pretend that I don't exist. I've been through that most of my life, you know, and now it's with, you know, of course, past friends. They don't want to be involved with me or what I've got going on because they might have to think about who they were in the past. And of course, if they're parents and grandparents now, well, then that person from the past just doesn't exist, especially if they did something that goes against being a grandparent, right? How unfortunate is that? You know, you can't accept your entire life as who you were. So therefore, what, you're now two people, that past person and this present person. I don't go in for that. You know, I just don't. You know, what a lie. You just tell yourself those lies and you'll just feel all better. All right. Well, it looks like the last hour or into the third hour of my shows have started to become rants. A rant. You know. Um, and that's okay. I mean, people got to vent, right? Um, and you know, I got to get shit off my fucking head. This is all about. You know, if you got something to say to me, you can say it here in a comment, and I'll either like it and leave it, or dislike it and delete it. Or who want to discuss anything in the videos, you can always hit me up in private. I mean, that is a thing. You know, um, these things originally um, were designed as telephones. You remember what one is? Do you fucking remember how to call somebody and talk to somebody? Do you remember that? Or not? Because most of you probably don't remember what a fucking telephone is. You probably think these things were designed to just text people. Let's just finger a message. Since most of you probably can't even do that correctly anyway, don't even bother calling me. Of course, if you do want to talk to me, shoot me a message, and I'll give you some a way to get in contact with me. Otherwise, you know, um, you can hit me up here and we'll talk. I'm an open book. I've decided that for the rest of my life, I'm just gonna fucking be me, unapologetically me. If it pisses people off that I'm who I am, so be it. It's happened my whole fucking life. Nobody has liked who I am because I'm too fucking real. You know, um, whatever. Grow the fuck up. Grow some balls and be who you are. So many people are stuck in the fucking goddamn closet because they can't just accept who they are, right? So they gotta hide. They gotta pretend to be that guy at work. They gotta pretend to be that husband at home and that father, and they gotta pretend to be this and this and that and this. You know what? And I've been pretending my whole fucking life, and I'm over it. I am me. If you don't like me, turn the fucking channel. If you don't like me, don't call me. Don't message me. Don't talk to me. I just don't give a fuck anymore. You know, like it or leave it. Love me or leave me, right? And there's a lot of people out there. Most of the planet would rather just leave me turned off. And more than likely, it's because I make them feel bad on an emotional level. I make them actually feel something they don't want to feel. Oh, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to feel that. So they just turn it off, you know? And that's the way the world is. They just want to be entertained. They just want to be happy. They don't want to be brought down. They don't want to be sad. They don't want to have to, be responsible for somebody else's emotions or emotional state, right? They don't want to have to care about anybody. They don't want to be empathic, right? The world just wants to laugh at stupid fucking memes and then make shitty fucking comments, right? The world is just full of fucking trolls at this point. So come on, trolls, bring it on. Yeah, I'm so over trying to reach out on a personal level to individuals that I'm just going for the whole fucking planet now. Here I am, I'm reaching out, everybody. Bring it on. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about anything. You know, I can't get anyone that I know or am related to do this on a real personal level. So I'm taking it. What do you think? What's it all about? How is your family and friends? What's your past look like versus your present? How many relationships have you made and then just have walked away from you because that this is who you are? How many people have lied to you about pretty much everything, so that you get to an older age in life and you feel like a joke, really. I mean, everything was just like a hood, and you were just pointed in directions. No, you have to. This is who you are, really. No, really. You know. Don't look at reality. And it's unfortunate. Enough of the pieces of the puzzle start to come up that make you wonder, but the people that can help you with those pieces of the puzzle and put them into place, well, they're either gone, the present, that they don't even want to think about the past, right? Or they're too afraid of the truth, right? because they've been told that it's the while that may have been true in the past, and that maybe in the past I was an unstable person about my existence. Um, why the fuck not now when I really, really am asking and want to know? I don't know. I wish somebody in my family would grow some balls and talk to me about shit that I've been, trying to pull out of people. I just don't give a shit anymore. I really don't. We had this opportunity my entire life for honesty. And at the time that I really, really need honesty, and I've been asking for a couple of years now for some honesty since, both parents are gone. You think that somebody would just have the balls to give me that honesty, I mean, there are, cousins and aunts and siblings and stuff who probably know more about me and my about who I am or where I'm from, right? But no, nobody's going to come clean. No, because that would hurt them on an emotional level, right? I might affect them negatively, which is the way it's always been. We couldn't act like children, or at least I wasn't allowed to act like a child around my father out in public, because we might make him look bad, right? People might look at him and go, oh, that guy, he's got his kids. We weren't ever allowed to act out and be stupid and silly and stuff, sit on your hands and behave and don't act like kids. For God's sake, don't act like kids out in public. You might embarrass me, right? Yeah. So now, being raised that way, I'm sure that's why,